Let's go. So welcome back to the channel. This is a special
Um,
episode featuring the Jake Paul vs Mike Tyson fight on Netflix, live in a few hours' time. 700 viewers. Of course, the best person to bring here to give us more context, give us analysis, and probably the most accurate prediction we can possibly have. None other than Ozeto Idris. Welcome back, my brother.
Man, thanks one more time for having me here, man, bro.
Yeah,
Thanks.
so of course, always glad to have you on. You are the resident boxing enthusiast. I've not seen someone who understands boxing as much as you, quite frankly. So, I mean, I think you will be able to educate us and the larger audience as to exactly what we're seeing here. Many of us,
Okay.
many of us remember Mike Tyson from the Holyfield days, all those types of things. Most people who even know Mike Tyson probably didn't watch his last fight in 2005, but I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
So, I mean, then the younger ones who probably truly actually got into boxing later, saw Mike Tyson in the exhibition Roy Jones Jr. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
most of our
Yes.
knowledge comes from videos and from when we were young. So, I mean, just for context on this fight against Jake Paul, the biting of the ear was 1997, and that's when Jake Paul was born. What do you think of that?
Wow. Well, it. Anyways, like what I think of that is that to begin with, I think that was the second fight with Holyfield, right?
Yes, that was a rematch.
When I think Holyfield was the thing with Taxi, right? Is like once I'm a Tyson fan, I'm a boxing fan, but in Tyson era, like when you go back and look at boxing during the Tyson era,
Yeah,
most people refer to it as the second golden age of heavyweight boxing.
true.
You see, so they had guys like Lennox Lewis, Evander, and Tyson himself, who
Yeah,
were like the three-headed dragons. But you have people like the guy that had the trilogy with Holyfield. That's Big Daddy. God, uh, I don't know why I keep forgetting these guys' names. You
yeah,
understand? But any boxing fan would remember him. He had an amateur fight with Lennox, anyways. Like he was the champion before he eventually lost to Holyfield at some point.
yeah.
He took the belt from Holyfield. That was God. I'm coming. Let me just refresh my memory quickly. Um,
But really, you know, yes, they have that image, they have that time period, but I mean, Mike Tyson rose above the rest of them. Mike Tyson is the one who
yeah,
left boxing and inserted himself into popular culture. So, who was the person you were talking about?
Riddick Boyle. Riddick Boyle is actually one of my guys in heavyweight boxing. I don't know
Yeah,
why. How come I forgot that name? So it's Riddick Boyle. So basically, like the point I was trying to make, like
yeah,
that was like the second golden era of boxing,
okay,
and for most people, myself included, we're all big fan of Tyson. Tyson was the people's champ.
yeah,
He was the casual fans. He was the champ of the casual fans.
yeah,
But at the same time, the hardcore fans, the hardcore fans of boxing, that's the die-hard fans.
yeah,
He wasn't necessarily uh, the champ for the hardcore fans, because if you look at that era, right, like people like them Holyfield and Riddick Boyle and Lennox Lewis, like some people would even rank Lennox and Holyfield ahead of Tyson. So
yeah,
the point I was trying to make is that uh, Tyson is the kind of fighter that always wants to dominate you. He wants
yeah,
to come to the ring from the get go. He dominates you. He imposes his will on you, and he beats you to submission. You get
yeah,
what I'm saying? So now Holyfield was fighting back. I bet the first fight, you know, he didn't just have any reply at some point to Holyfield's ruggedness,
yeah,
his counter punchy ability, and by the time the second fight was happening, you know, Tyson got so mad, like he couldn't really control his temper, and he just had to bite Holyfield's ear off. You
Yes,
get
because
so now,
Holyfield was using his head movement, kind of butting heads with him.
yeah, no,
You know what I
but
mean?
that's
Annoying
what
him.
no, that's what most people say, but that's not the case because if you go back to that fight, right, on some occasion, Tyson was also using his head.
Yeah,
I've watched that fight. I've gone back to watch to watch that fight on many occasions. Like if you analyze the video, you'll see that Tyson even used his head,
yeah,
way more than Holyfield.
right.
A lot of people accuse Holyfield, including Lenos Lewis, that he uses his head, he uses
Yeah, dirty boxing.
dirty boxing, like dirty tricks,
Yeah,
to win his fights. But that wasn't the case. The case was that Holyfield is a champion.
yeah,
Holyfield he fights dirty if you want, if that's what you want. He's good at uh, close fighting. Like when you move close to him, like he's going to give you that dirty fight. So I think Mike Tyson, in my own opinion, couldn't just meet up with that. Then at the end of the day, the pressure was too much. And Tyson has always been, for me, I don't think Tyson has, after the death of his trainer, that's Costumodo, right?
mm-hmm.
He couldn't really like cause that he took much of the pressure from Tyson. He took everything, like he took most of this pressure off Tyson. But now with people like Don King behind Tyson, he had that pressure. After the Douglas Buster
Yeah.
lost, he
I
was not
remember that
going to
fight.
lose it. Yeah, he wasn't going to lose again. Like you must, like, I bet like the people who were around him then, like his coaches, his promoters, everyone was like, you are the Iron Mike. Nobody can come close to you. I think he couldn't take the pressure. So at the end of the day, he probably wanted the fight off. Then he beat Holyfield's ear because you cannot justify headbutting by biting off someone's ear. You can basically just get the referee's attention, or you can even protest and maybe just do something dramatic. We saw what happened between Usyk and Daniel Debois.
Yeah.
Like when
Yeah,
yeah,
with the
when
groin stuff, right?
yes, exactly. So you can get the ref attention. You don't have to go and bite the fighter's ear. So that was, for me, he couldn't take the pressure, and that is what he had to do. But anyways, going back to the question you asked me, right? So now this fight, right? Like
Yeah.
from what I can see, there's still so much pressure on Mike. He's trying to. I don't know if he's within the last 20 years, 1997 till now. That was almost 30 years,
Yeah.
ago. So I
27
don't know,
years, yeah.
he with age and everything, yeah, with age and all that. So I expect that he should be able to cope with pressure a lot more better now, you know.
Yeah.
And just looking at the gap, like the age gap
Mm.
between Jake and Tyson, just tells you the gap in quality when it comes to skills. You
Right.
know, Tyson at his prime was an elite and a world class, a legitimate Hall of Famer boxer.
Yeah.
So the reason why he's here now, out here fighting with Jake Paul, who was born in 1997. You understand?
Yeah.
And that was when Tyson was already in that. A lot of boxing fans will tell you, as at 1997, Tyson was no longer himself. He was already declining as
Yeah,
a
sure.
fighter.
They call
You
him an
understand?
80s
So
fighter, not a 90s fighter, anyway.
yes, he was in his prime in the 80s, like when in his early 20s, basically. So it just tells you, it gives you a clearer picture of what to expect from the fight. So what to expect is clearly a big gap in age, and a big gap as well in skills.
Yeah.
Because what Tyson loses, like when it comes to age, he has it in skills, and what Jake loses when it comes in terms of skills and experience, he has it in the youthful exuberance and the youthful energy that he's going to bring to the fight. I'm sure if these two things weren't present, we'll probably not be having this fight.
Right.
So in essence, what I'm saying, if this fight had happened in 1999 or 2001, let's assume Jake was a lot older, there will be no fight.
Right.
So now, moving on to also, do you have any other question, or I should just
No,
continue?
no, no. Like so you've given a little bit of background on Mike. I think the
Yeah.
audience, for those who don't know, need to know a little bit about Jake because Jake is my guy in this fight. You know what I mean? Like
Okay. 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 So,
he's the person who brought us
this.
to this moment. I think.
Okay.
Obviously,
Okay. Yeah.
as I've always said, Mike Tyson. Without Mike Tyson, this fight is not possible. But
Yeah.
what people need to realize, and I'll walk backwards, is that Jake is the person who has brought a fight where if you have a Netflix account, you can watch a full pay-per-view level boxing event live for free, essentially, because all you just have to do is pay for your Netflix, right? Which everybody pays for. And he's the one who was given the task to go and get this deal done. Because obviously, he and Mike Tyson, they've had a relationship for over 4 or 5 years now. And
Yeah.
you remember Jake fought on Tyson's undercard with the Roy Jones fight. So,
Yes.
and
Yes.
Mike Tyson came out and said it is because of this boy that we're able to do this fight where people like us can get paid, come out and get paid. So, the boy needs to be given his props for someone who was born in '97, for someone who turned pro at the age of 23, to now be standing toe to toe with one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, and he's not scared. How many 27-year-olds can come out and say, "Okay, I want to fight freaking Anderson Silva"? You know what I mean? So the fact that the boy gets a lot of stake, which I think is unfair, but obviously he attracts it to himself because that is how he's going to market himself. He's going to be disrespectful. He's going to say all sorts of things. But
Yeah.
what the boy is doing is unprecedented for people his age. This boy is just 27. It's easy to forget that. 27 is insane to be saying that I want to fight a UFC fighter. I want to box Mike Tyson. I want to box Canelo. You know what I mean? So for a boy who
Yeah.
was born in '97, the time that Tyson has already been a world champion, made hundreds of millions. He's born in '97. He's doing some athletics at high school level. He transitions into acting in Hollywood. He comes out of Hollywood, goes into YouTube. Then all of a sudden, he says, "I want to start boxing," and starts boxing. And now here he is, part of the biggest event in boxing history, probably the biggest fight in history, period. So I think the boy definitely deserves some props for that. And I mean, going beyond that, going into the fight, everybody is saying that Jake is, picking on an old man, an OAP, but it's still Mike Tyson. And look at the image we have here. Mike Tyson, Jake, you know why he slapped him now, right?
Yeah. He stepped on his toes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like he literally stepped on his foot, and that was why he
What,
slapped
you,
him. And
what I feel about that, right? I think Jake probably is one of these old boxing tricks, right? Because I watched his brother Logan Paul, right?
yeah,
So he was talking about his experience with Mayweather at some point when they were boxing. I think whether it was in the fourth round or the fifth, I can't really remember. He clinched onto Mayweather,
yeah,
while the ref wasn't really watching, wasn't really paying attention.
yeah,
Mayweather used his hand to cover his mouth and his nose, so he lost some breath for some second. And you know what that means, like in boxing, to lose your breath, like while a fight is going on. So
yeah,
these are the tricks, like some of the tricks, like when it comes to boxing. So I'm sure, like he's be getting this advice. You have to try everything possible just to win over Mike Tyson. So stepping on his toes might feel insignificant, like to just casual fans.
yeah.
But actually, like in a bigger picture, that can actually sends a message. And I feel Tyson reacted the right way.
Mm,
So he reacted as a fighter, like you are not going to come here and do that to me. You're not going to step on my toes, and I'm not going to let you walk off. You are going to get a slap for that. And I'm sure everybody in boxing, most hardcore boxing, not just boxing, everybody in combat sports, we are already happy with that slap. So I hope
I
I hope
mean,
in the main fight we get a KO. I know you like Jake, but I'm sure most people tuning in to watch this fight, they are tuning in to
yeah,
see
most
Mike
people,
Tyson.
like most of us, like in this part of the world, most people here don't even
Yeah,
know who Jake is. You know what I mean? Everybody knows Mike
yeah,
Tyson. So is Mike
yeah,
Tyson they're tuning in for? Oh, Mike Tyson is fighting again. Who is this? Who is this boy that he's fighting? Why is he fighting this boy? You know. But me, I kind of came from the opposite angle.
yeah.
Not like I don't know Mike Tyson. I mean, come on, but you know what I mean.
Yes,
And
yes,
but
yes.
the boy is inspiring to me. The fact that because he keeps talking about like okay, so he has a video where he tours his $60 million house in Puerto Rico, and in 2021 he fought 3 times, made $40 million, like, and it's just so inspiring to me. So it's difficult for me to come out and say, oh, I don't like Jake Paul or this or the way people speak about him. Like a lot of people, when you hear them speak about Jake Paul, you can tell it's jealousy, because a lot of these people at 27 they were not doing anything close to what this boy is doing. That's the
You,
one.
the, it's not. I don't think it's jealousy, right? I don't
Yeah,
think it's jealousy. I just think what I see is the way, like you said it, like it's just we can even compare Mayweather's tactics. Let me just put it that way. The way
yeah,
Mayweather decided to go about promoting his fights,
true.
hate sell, hate sell.
Yeah,
So if you put yourself out there in order for a significant amount of your audience to hate you,
yeah,
there's evidence, like there's enough evidence to show that it does sell. Like when you get a lot of fans to hate you, they tune in, they want to watch your fight, they don't want to see you win, they just want to see you get knocked out. So Mayweather did it, and
yeah,
he's doing it with Jake. To be honest, I give him credit. When he first came out, when this whole YouTube fighters came to the fray, I think the first fight I ever watched, like, of these YouTube guys was KSI and Logan Paul. That was the first one that happened. I think Jake fought in the undercard, right, with
yes,
Deji.
yes, true.
Okay. So even if you go back and watch that fight, right,
Mm.
you see that Jake is naturally gifted. Like when it comes to
Wow.
fighting, like when yeah, like he has the power. You understand? Like when it comes to fighting, it comes naturally.
Yeah.
It comes naturally. You have to have that in you. You just have to have that dog in you. Like, I want to fight. You have that confidence that you can go in there, and literally hit someone else. I could see that very first fight against DG, Jake had that dog in him.
Mm.
So now what Jake has that most people don't have,
Yeah.
like 27 years old and 21 years old, 19 years old, is the platform. He's a YouTuber. He has a lot of platform. And
Okay.
when you see most of all these YouTubers that have this big audience, that has a lot of followers on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube,
Mm.
they already have the platform. KSI, whatever, any fight KSI put out there, it sells. His
Yeah.
fight against Tommy Fury sold. The same thing with Logan as well. Logan sells fights. I mean, Deji. Deji doesn't have any skills like when it comes to boxing. I know he's improved lately, but he's literally fought with Mayweather.
Hmm.
Mayweather is like one of the greatest boxers of all time. So these guys have this platform that basically bring them into the fray, and that is the business aspect of boxing. You
Yeah.
need the skills and you need the platform, in order to sell fights. These guys, they literally sell fights. But the way Jake decided to go about it, if you look at Jake's strategy, he has been feasting on old and retired combat sports fighters.
Okay.
He started off with Ben Askren, then Tyrone Woodley,
Hmm.
late Diaz, and Darcy Silva, and these guys, like, for hardcore MMA fighters. You understand? Like
Yeah.
they don't really appreciate that. They don't really appreciate that. But nobody blames these guys. Nobody blame Woodley because Woodley literally asked for the fight. And you could even say he begged for it. You
Yeah,
understand?
no. What had happened was Jake Paul destroyed
Yeah.
Ben Askren, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Woodley is friends with Ben Askren. So
Yeah.
because Woodley trained Ben Askren for the fight, did you know
Yeah.
that? Yeah. So
Yes. Yes.
in the locker room, Jake was like talking shit, saying all kinds of stuff. So that's where that started from. So this Jake with Ben Askren 3 years ago. Ben Askren is a champion, MMA champion, Bellator,
Yeah.
One FC. So
Yes.
and then he comes in, dude. People were doubting this boy. People were doubting him
No.
that he's
No,
not because even Ben Askren came out and said, "Look, He said, "I'm a world level athlete. There is no way this guy is going to beat me." And if you notice, if you watch this fight, Ben Askren actually hit him, got him very well. But most people don't just think that Ben Askren just fell down. Look at that hit. Ben Askren just fell down and that was the end of it. No, they get
but
the
Ben
Ben.
Ben
Mhm.
Ben Astre is a wrestler. We know he's an athlete. We know he's a world level athlete. He fought in the MMA. He's in his last years in professional fighting.
Mm.
But everybody knows Ben Astre to be a wrestler. He isn't good with striking. Even in MMA, he's never been known as a good striker. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
nobody
yeah, that movement was.
nobody
Do you see that? That movement was terrible.
yeah,
look,
yeah.
look.
Yes, yes. I said no. Jake Paul has bad footwork.
Yeah,
His
I heard
footwork
KSI say the
is
same
not
thing. KSI said the
is
same
not
thing.
world is not world class level like when it comes to boxing. But you know what he's got, right? He's got the equalizer. Once you have that in boxing, you can basically breeze through the cab drivers and the potato cans in boxing. You get so that is just the truth. That's what Deontay Wilder did for a very long time.
Yeah.
So when you have that power, Jake Paul has the power. If he hits you, I don't care who you are going down. That's just the truth. If he hits you in the right place, if he throws one of those his haymakers, like most of his knockouts, you even see him literally closing his eyes and he just throws the haymaker
Swing
like
for
that.
the heavens.
If it gets you,
You're
trust me,
done. So I wanted to go over some of the things you've said. Like you posted some things on your status. So let's just read out what it
yes,
says. It says, so far, Jake has mainly feasted on an appetite for retired MMA fighters and non-boxers. When he
yeah,
crossed the line a bit marginally in 2023, Tommy Fury showed him the difference. Cautious of any return
yes.
fire, Jake found himself excessively hugging, clinching, and showing a lot of hesitation. Mike Tyson spent his entire career in this position, being clung to for dear life by fearful opponents. He will cut angles inside far more effectively than Fury. And if you put Mike, despite his age, in Fury's place during the barrage of punches at the end of round one, Mike is going to knock him out. And that's exactly what everyone is tuning in for. I mean, there's a lot to unpack there. Like the Tommy Fury fight, we watched that together, and I mean, Tommy outboxed Jake. It was really bad.
Outclassed him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really really bad. Even me, when I saw it was a split decision, I was like, "What? Are you serious?"
It's because of the knockdown. The
Yeah,
knockdown,
yeah,
the knockdown
yeah, and I think the
turned
points
him down.
deduction as well.
Yeah.
The points deduction also affected it, but um, Jake, I explained now because that fight, if Jake had fought Tommy Fury in that December of 21, there is no way Tommy would have won because I think that Jake now, with the experience he's gotten, with I mean, even
What,
after he
what,
fights Mike
what,
Tyson, if he goes back to Tommy, he's going to destroy him. Everyone knows this.
no, I disagree. I'm going to disagree with that,
Yeah,
Like in boxing, one thing that I've noticed in boxing, right? When you are fighting guys who are not good, they make you look good.
yeah,
If you go back and watch Jake's fight before Tommy Fury, What was his fight before Tommy Fury? Who did he fight before
He
Tommy?
fought Anderson
Uh,
Silva.
Anderson Silva, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he looked good against Anderson Silva. He dropped Anderson Silva, yeah, and he looked really good. But when he came up against Fury, Tommy, even in the first round, just from the get go,
Yeah.
you could see the difference between a legitimate boxer
True.
and someone who is coming into boxing at an old age. In
Yeah.
boxing, like when you come in at the age of 20, 21, is already old.
Yeah, an
You're
old
already
man.
old.
Yeah. That's
Without the foundation, the fundamentals, the amateur and all that. So Jake came in at a later time. So it showed like the gap in quality between him and Tommy was out there. But Tommy himself I would call Tommy like a semi-professional boxer. A lot of people would agree with that.
mm,
So, but still, he was able to show Jake's weakness. He was able to show like Jake was lacking like in his footwork. He couldn't really move, and he
and
was
that jab,
practically
man, that jab really did a number on Jake. Jake could not do
uh,
anything. He just kept
uh, uh,
swinging the overhand.
Exactly. So trust me, like when they get in the ring again, the only way Jake is going to beat Tommy is if he knocks him out. If he gets that, if he's lucky, because it's a fight. So, and as long as it's a fight, and if you have the power, I mean, one punch power, you don't need a combo. Like there are fighters who have just done one punch knocking out power, and
Yeah.
Jake has that. You understand? So, for the fact that Jake has that, if he smacks Fury hard enough, he can knock him out. So I think that's the only chance, a puncher's chance. That is the only chance I'm going to give Jake is against Fury, even if they were to fight 2 years, 3 years from now. I think Fury will still be the better fighter, like no matter what happens, even if there's a rematch.
So let's get back towards the fight then. You've said
Okay.
here that Jake winning is really bad for boxing, and Mike
Yeah.
winning is equally bad for boxing because it opens the floodgates for people to come out
Yeah.
looking for a payday and risking
Yeah.
their health, right?
Exactly, exactly. I just thought of that. In fact, like I was thinking about it today. You get, if you notice, like the dynamics, the shape that this Mike Tyson and Jake Paul's fight is, the shape that it's taking. Like you see, lots of these old guys, they are coming in to give their opinion. In fact, I saw the guy that fighting fought against his very last fight before he
Yeah.
decided that he was going to call it quits. Like he's out there putting himself, he's putting himself out. If
Yeah,
this fight is
many
not going
boxers.
to happen,
Yeah, like, and
kind
that's
of
kind of
call
my
me.
point, right? Because that's my
Yeah,
point of Jake. Jake has brought out people out of the woodwork that we would not have
yeah.
known of otherwise. You know what I mean? Like,
because
y-
because he has the platform. He
yeah,
has the platform. He has a big followers on YouTube, on social media. Like at the time that these boxers, were basically learning their trade, there was nothing like social media.
yeah.
It was not existing basically at the time of Mike Tyson, at the time of you need to build your career for a consistent and a long period of time in order for you to have this platform, the traditional boxing way. But now you have a guy who already has the platform. Even before coming for his first fight, he already has a follower of more than 15 million
Yeah,
subscribers on YouTube. That's a big platform there. So boxers, as much as they are athletes, as much as they want to have that credibility, they want to maintain the dignity, is a profession and everything, but it's also a business. People want to make money.
yeah,
Everybody has the price. Everybody has the price. So all those boxers are there, whether it's Andrew Ward, whether it's Carl Froch. We talked about Carl Froch yesterday, whether it's Tony Bennu. They need money because as soon as they retire, nothing is coming in at the
true.
way it used to come in. You
Yeah,
understand?
even
So
even Shannon Briggs came out and said, yeah, he wants to fight. I think Rampage Jackson.
yeah, Channel Briggs has been trying to get a fight for a very long time. I think he was trying to get a fight with my guy James Toney. I believe you should know him. He's one of the best defensive boxers that have ever lived. So they tried to put up a fight, but they were not able to. Eventually, James Toney had to fight Razor Roddock, and then I think James Toney does not really have the name. You need to be a hardcore boxing fan to know him. But Shannon Briggs is looking for the money, and Rampage Johnson has the name. He has
Yeah.
the name. It's an easier fight for him in boxing, and it's a bigger name. You understand? So they've been trying to get that on for a very long time. I think for the last 3 years, but it hasn't been successful. I'm actually looking forward to that as well. I hope
What do you think of Tyson's physique? Looking at him, you can see him.
for a 58 years old man
Yeah,
is very impressive. I saw a video of Tyson when he was 42.
yeah,
He even looked more impressive as a 58 years old than when he was in his early 40s.
yeah.
It's scary. You look at his head. Have you seen his head?
Obviously, it would be.
Have you seen his head? Just zoom in and look at his head, man.
This was it now,
It's
right?
no. Just after the 2005, this was 2005 was his last fight.
Yeah.
I think 5 years after this, he became fat. Like he put on some fat. So
Right.
he's looking a lot fitter. He's looking a lot scarier. He's looking meaner. And when
And
you look at those videos,
yeah, and
he-
one thing about this slap. Yeah, where's the slap? Let's find the slap. One thing about this slap is that Jake Paul didn't dodge it. Like if you remember Caleb Plant and Canelo, right?
Canelo, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Plant tried to slap him. Canelo dodged and followed up with
the
his own.
reflex.
You understand?
Yeah.
And Jake just sat there and he's like, "Oh yeah, I ate that." But bro,
What,
once you
what,
have
what,
14 ounces with the fist, you're not eating that in the ring tomorrow or
what
tonight.
actually what I am more surprised about is that Jake did not strike back.
Yeah,
You get no. It's, apart from you can
that means
say
it's,
he
that
he
means he's
never.
confident now, right?
Well, I don't know because you don't. If you are confident, then you need to strike back. So if you are in the ring, because this is already my game. Like
Yeah.
we saw that this is already my game. You get like when it comes to boxing, right? Before the fight, the opponent is already trying to break your spirit. Is already trying to let you know you are going to have a hard time out there. It's not going to be an easy fight. He's trying to basically get one over you. So
Yeah.
every moves matter. So when an opponent slaps you before a fight, most boxers would at least attempt to hit back.
Yeah.
Like they'll make a move. Like I think Jake was just confused. He didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And that's why I can see they slapped him. If you notice, if you go back and look at that video, Mike slapped him. You understand? And Mike was already in a defensive stance immediately after the fight.
Yeah.
Immediately after the slap. You understand?
Yeah, I see it.
It comes naturally as a fighter. To me, I just see this.
So he hits him.
He hits him. He's taking a defensive stand immediately. And Jake was just there. He didn't know what to do. Like he was confused. He was shocked. Like, it was
That's
a moment later he started.
Yeah,
he
that's a
started
very good point.
reacting.
Yeah.
So
In that time, if Mike was following up, Jake would have been on the ground.
Yes. Assuming if it was in the ring, this happens, you understand, Jake is done.
Yeah.
Because you just need a few seconds, he should as a fighter, he should have if for Caleb Plant and Canelo, you saw the reflex.
Yeah.
The moment Caleb threw that, Canelo dodged it and he hit him back immediately. That was what happened, right? Can you show the video so that we can compare it to Jake's?
Let me see. Someone was actually talking about that. Let me see. Canelo Plant.
when you look at it, you see the difference. Like that will tell you, okay, these are fighters compared to Jake and Tyson. What I could see from that video is Jake was a bit hesitant, and as a fighter, you don't need that.
You see that? Okay,
Exactly.
so I think, but the difference is Canelo is actually expecting the violence, right?
Yeah, but that is the point. Like, it's boxing, it's fighting. This is a fighting game. Like, you should expect you should expect violence at any point in time.
Yeah, that's true.
It happens often, like in face off.
Yeah,
So as soon as the fact that Tyson got him, I can forgive him for that. I mean, his reaction, you could see Caleb's reaction immediately. You can see Canelo's reaction immediately. Uh, Jake seems very confused to me after he got slapped. He didn't know what to do.
Poof, poof. That's fantastic. Let's compare
Yeah.
Jake, who just okay, just sits there and eats it. Doosh. I guess they were very close, so I think Jake would not have seen it coming. But that position is very possible in the ring.
He was still out there, like assuming Tyson wanted to take another swing, he
Yeah,
would have
yeah, he
gotten
would
to
have gotten
him.
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess that brings us to the prediction of the fight, right?
Yeah.
Who do you think wins this fight? It's a professional bout, 14-ounce gloves. Let's look at the weights. Paul is 227. Tyson is 228. Who do you think wins?
Just slightly here. Okay. Well, I'll try and be fair. I'll try and be fair. Even as at now, I've not really picked who I think would win. The reason why is that I've never seen a 58 years old in a boxing ring fighting a professional fight.
Yeah, sanctioned.
The last time I saw that was James Toney and Razor Rodok.
Yeah.
Trust me, it was horrible. It was horrible. At some point, Razor threw a punch, and he fell off the ring.
I think.
Same.
Wait. I think I saw that. I think I saw
Yeah,
this.
same. It was horrible. It was horrible. Trust me. And
Yes, 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 yes. I've seen this. I've seen this.
yeah, I think
59 and
these guys are
55. Wow.
yeah these guys are about the same age with Tyson. I think
Tyson is
Tony should
58.
be
Roddock was 59.
Tony should be a not young. Tony
Tony
should be
was 55
younger
at the time.
at this time. Okay,
Yeah.
you see.
This
So
is
and
close.
Tyson is 58. That's 3 years difference. So now, judging from this fight and going back to the Holyfield and Belfort fight,
Yeah.
because before that fight, Holyfield looked really sharp. I looked at some of his video before the fight, and they were very impressive. Because when it comes to these videos, like whoever is putting out the video, they take out the best parts.
Yeah,
And
they'll cut it now. Cut it very well for
yeah, they
social
will cut
media.
it out, and those are the videos I'm basically using to judge Mike Tyson and his physique. But when I look at his attitude, his behavior, his response, I think he's just trying to basically intimidate everyone. So I can't really tell. I'm not really that confident, though I want Tyson to win. I'm not saying he doesn't have the chance, he doesn't stand the chance of winning, because he's a one in a lifetime. He was once a life in a lifetime boxer, an
Yeah.
elite boxer. So and the rounds being just 2 minutes compared to 3 minutes, so it will favor Tyson. And for now, to be honest, I'm still leaning towards Jake. I
Yeah.
think if Jake comes up with the right strategy, he can beat Tyson. All he
So
needs to do
yeah.
for the first few rounds, because that's when we are going to see the best of Tyson.
Yeah.
The first 1, 2, 3 rounds, he will be able to he will have that energy, but he's a 58 years old man. As after the first 2, 3 rounds, I think fatigue will start to catch up with him.
Yeah.
So if Jake is able to make it through those rounds, without exhausting too much energy, I think he can. If he manages the fight properly, he stands a chance. But if he's not able to, then it's also possible. Like when in the first round against Tommy,
Yeah.
you saw what happened. You
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
You
I
saw
saw
what
it.
happened.
It was terrible. I was so scared.
If if the opportunity, if there's an opportunity like that against Tyson in the first round,
Mm.
Tyson would knock him out.
Wow.
Tyson. Then another thing, like another factor, what we also need to consider is that Jake. This is the heaviest we are seeing Jake in the boxing ring.
Yeah.
So
220.
he's
What? 227.
so 227. I think he's put on about uh 20 pounds. 20,
Yeah. He
compared
walks
to his.
around. He walks around 12, 207. Yeah.
Yes, so he's put on about 20 pounds. So he's going to be a lot slower. He's
Mm.
not going to the Jake you saw against Mike Perry is not the Jake you would see against Tyson. He
Yeah.
will be a lot slower. The power, when it comes to power in boxing, right? When fighters put on weight,
Yeah.
they add a little bit of power, but the power is not as dramatic, is not as
Explosive.
the is not as explosive as you would think, as the weight suggests. It's just going to be just a little bit more power, to that body size. But when it comes to movement, he's going to be a lot slower compared to against Mike Perry when he was a little bit faster. So we also have to consider that as well. We have to see how Jake can carry his body, with 20 pounds heavier body. We'll have to see how he will be able to carry himself in the ring. So if he's not able to, if he's not able to move out of Tyson way fast enough, and power is one of the last things to leave when it comes to boxing.
Yeah.
Tyson still has the power. So if he clinch him, if he gets him at the right spot, then it's going to be good night. But for me right now, my prediction will be uh, Jake has the youth, he has the resources as a youth, and he has the energy. So it depends on his strategy. So if he puts on a good strategy, then
Mm.
it's possible that he can win. But if he's not able to manage himself, if he's not able to manage the fight, and he comes out blazing against Tyson, then
Yeah.
it's possible Tyson will knock him out in the early stage.
Okay, but this is what you want because this also came from your profile. It says we may not agree on
Yes,
politics or religion, but we all want to see Mike Tyson knock out Jake Paul in the first round.
exactly. I think every like 90% of the people tuning in to watch this fight,
Yeah.
they they just want to see Tyson knocks out Jake Paul, and everybody
Celebrate.
would be happy, celebrate, and once more Tyson will get. In fact, this will be the best last hurrah for Tyson, and everyone
Yeah,
will,
and you get
will
his
say
20, 30 million, His children
exactly.
can
Exactly. Thank you very much, Tyson, for doing us this justice, like for
Let me
putting
show you
this
something. Let me show you something.
for putting a stop.
Let me show you what Jake Paul said. Let me show you what Jake Paul said. We're
Okay.
almost out of time. We're pushing very quickly. But see, I want you to
Okay.
listen. I want you to listen to this, bro.
100%. I believe I could beat Mike Tyson during any phase of any part of his career with my current boxing ability. No, we've been doing
You
a
see, this is what
pretty
he does that makes
extensive
people hate him.
film study
Say that again.
on Mike.
This is the reason why the combat, like the combat sports community, not just boxing. I'm
Yeah.
talking about MMA, and I'm talking about boxing as well.
Yeah.
He says all these kind of things. Like, why would Jake says that he could beat Tyson at any point in
Somebody
his
asked him,
career?
but somebody
That's
asked him
crazy.
the question. He's promoting for the
Mhm.
fight, so he has to answer the answer. He has to answer the question correctly. This is the
No,
only
there's a
correct
way.
answer he can give.
No, that's not the only correct answer you can give. Like, there's a way he can give an answer to that question. If he doesn't want to make himself look weak or look scared, he can just answer the question in a very intelligent and subtle way that he does not have
Intelligent
to.
Jake Paul.
Yeah, he does not have to offend. He does not have to offend the boxing community,
Yeah.
because you coming out to say a YouTuber who came into boxing
4
at
years.
age 22 or 21,
20.
thereabouts,
20.
and
Yeah.
Mighty saying that you can beat an all-time great in heavyweight boxing. You can beat the Mike Tyson that knocked out guys like Razor Roddock.
Yeah.
You can beat Mike Tyson that knocked out prime old Larry Holmes.
Yeah.
You know, these are legends in the game. You get so you are just being straight up disrespectful to the boxing community. So, you know, if Jake had approached this like the other way, like maybe more or less like because KSI could have basically decided to do exactly what Jake is doing, and he would have the platform as well. Logan Paul would have done the same. Like even during Logan Paul and Mayweather's fight, you know, Jake was a lot more disrespectful to Mayweather than Logan Paul, even though Logan was the one fighting Mayweather.
Yes,
Jake,
yes, but
Jake
let's
was,
yeah, I understand, but let's not bring KSI into this because KSI was scheduled to fight 2 people in August, right? He was scheduled to fight. He said, "I'm fighting 2 people in August." Slim Albahir, you know him now from Yemen. And
yes. Slim is actually a good boxer.
Right.
For you,
KSI said,
for you,
yes.
actually good.
KSI said, "I'm going to fight Slim and Anthony Taylor, Jake Paul's former sparring partner."
So Slim beats that your guy. What's his name? The short chubby guy like
Salt Papi.
So yeah,
Yeah,
he lost
yeah.
to Slim, right?
Yeah, he
got
lost to
knocked
Slim.
out.
He lost to Slim, yeah. So KSI comes out and says, "I'm going to fight Slim Albahir and I'm going to fight what's his name? Anthony Taylor in the same fight." Right? KSI fakes an injury and says, "Oh, I injured my hand." Wait now. And instead of him to nurse his injury, he goes and he's performing his new music, and he says, "Oh no, I'm not fighting this small fight anymore. I want to fight Floyd Mayweather and I want to fight Amir Khan." This guy says, "Oh yeah, I've moved on from the Slim fight. I want to fight Amir Khan." What do they call that? That is called ducking.
Trust me,
Amir
like
Khan, wait now. Amir Khan is retired, right? And he last fought at middleweight.
he fought. Who did he fight in this? That he fought not too long ago against one of these.
He fought Kell
Ken
Brook.
Brooks. Yeah.
He fought Kell
I
Brook in
remember that.
2022. He's retired.
Yeah.
He's not fought in 2 years, and he fights his biggest fight is at 154, and then he's calling Jake Paul a weight bully. But he wants to fight Amir Khan and he wants to fight Floyd. Floyd fights at what?
Okay.
145. So
No, but I think the reason why is the gap, like because of something has to go. Something
right.
has to go.
So,
like
that's what KSI is hiding behind, because the whole time he keeps on calling Jake Paul's name. His entire promotion is all about slating, slandering, and libeling Jake Paul, right? But when the time comes to fight, he's like, "Oh, come down to 170, come down to 185." Then why are you talking to a big man? Jake Paul is big, right? Jake Paul is fighting. He's fighting at 200, and you are 175, saying that you want to fight him. Keep quiet. You understand?
Okay. Okay.
So
when
that's
it comes,
why I don't even want to hear that guy's name, bro. The guy is a coward.
When it comes to KSI, right? Like KSI and Jake's supposed fight, you know, it's been going on for some time now. You know, at some point I was
8 years. 8 years.
Yeah, and for me, in my own honest opinion, I feel if KSI wanted that fight to happen, the fight would have happened.
Of course.
The fight should have happened by now. KSI does not want to fight Jake Paul. He feels the time is not right for him to fight Jake Paul. And for Slim is actually a dangerous guy.
Very dangerous, and KSI knows it.
KSI knows it, and if I was behind KSI, I wouldn't even advise him to fight Slim right now.
That's what he's doing now. Yeah.
What does he stand to gain against Slim? Against Slim, like he's the A side. Like when it comes to the platform, he's bigger than Slim. He sells more fight than Slim. So for him going after American.
Yeah.
Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. Him going after American, like he has nothing to lose. He gets beaten by American, and everybody will be like, "Well, is American former
Bro,
world
it's
champion?"
Amir Khan. Amir Khan, his biggest weight is 154.
Yeah, but it
KSI
doesn't
fights
matter.
at 175.
Logan fought Mayweather.
Yeah.
Logan fought Mayweather. So when it comes to boxing, when it comes to the YouTubers and the skilled fighters, the professional boxers,
Yeah.
I don't think the weight should matter so much. I don't think there should be the especially boxers who are still active
Yeah.
or who were active in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
These guys can literally come in and still fight these YouTubers. So
True.
American against KSI, American will be the favorite.
Yeah,
American will be the
sure.
favorite.
Sure.
Yeah, American will be the favorite against KSI. So for me, I see the reason why KSI wants that fight. He rather goes for American. Well, if I lose against American, he lost against Tommy Fury, and nobody is making a big deal out of it because Tommy is a semi-professional boxer. So now it's the
Also,
same
he
thing.
he has a huge fan base that are very loyal. So one,
Mm-hmm.
he even ran away from his YouTube for about 3 months because you
Mm.
saw the way he reacted. He was crying on stage. He was kicking screens, kicking speakers. No, I'm serious. I'm serious. And he
Yeah.
refused to upload a YouTube video for 3 months until the reaction died down because he went before the fight. Before the fight, he went and tattooed the word legacy on his back. Like, oh, I'm going to, the point was, I'll beat Tommy Fury. And since Fury beat Jake Paul, I won't have to fight Jake Paul anymore. But that plan backfired big time. And he's run away. We're in November now, he still hasn't fought. And he says, oh, we asked him, what kind of injury do you have? He said, oh, it's my knuckle. I can't punch.
You see, even the Tommy Fury fights, right? I'm not a KSI fan and I'm not a Jake Paul's fan, but I preferred KSI to Jake Paul. But now I even prefer Jake Paul to KSI. The reason why is the fight against Tommy. I think Jake Paul came out to fight. Jake Paul
KSI came out to steal on points.
Yeah,
Sure.
like it was embarrassing. What KSI did, hugging, clinching all the time, like it was so embarrassing. Like I'm glad that the judges, gave the fight to Tommy, who was out there and wanted to actually fight, and KSI was just there. He throws a punch, he clinch, he throws a punch, he clinch.
He was hitting Tommy in the back of the head.
Runs around the ring. It was so embarrassing. So when I watched how the way Jake went about his fight against Tommy,
yeah.
I saw someone who believed that I can actually fight and beat this guy.
Yeah.
He put up a fight. After that fight, we watched it together, and I told you that okay, I now I have more respect for Jake, because he actually came out. He fought and he even dropped.
Well, the fight was, I think the fight was 8 or 10 rounds.
It was, I think 8 rounds. It was 8 rounds.
KSI said, no, we must fight 6 rounds. It must be 6. And it's like, what kind of boxer, if you are confident, your opponent is saying he wants 8 rounds. You are the A side, and you're saying, no, it must be 6. What does that tell everybody? And that's the shame. The shame is that we see all these things in front of our eyes, and nobody wants to call them out. If you're a good boxer, you shouldn't be asking for 6 when someone is asking for 8.
That's a 6-round fight for someone who claims to be a fighter. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing because none of them is like 50-something years old or 40-something.
Exactly.
Like these are guys in their 20s, so we should see more rounds. You can't judge a fight. You can't judge fighters with just 6 rounds. That's for KSI. I feel KSI right now, when it comes to the boxing aspect of his career, he needs to actually do more. He needs to do more. He needs to put himself out there so that people can actually consider him as a legitimate.
The funny thing is that Jake says, look, the best I can do for you, sir, the best I can do for you is 190. Right? KSI is like, no, it has to be 185. Okay. KSI fought and beat Logan at 195. KSI went up to 195. I think he made 193. and fought and so-called defeated Logan, right? Because the ref deducted 2 points instead of 1, but no problem. And Jake is like, okay, fine, let's do 190. Then KSI goes on Logan's podcast, and Logan asks him, Mr. Beast asked him, how much, what's the weight that Jake Paul said? KSI comes out and says 200. So Mr. Beast is like, okay, you want 185, Jake Paul wants 200, meet at the middle, 192. But that's a lie, because Jake said 190, but he is trying to inflate. He lied and inflated the weight.
200. Like I don't see Jake as a heavyweight, because anything above 200, that should be heavyweight, right? Yeah. Jake is more or less a cruiserweight.
Yeah, he is.
Jake should be cruiserweight. So and if Jake wants to come down to 195, I think that's possible. Even 200, 190. They can fight. They can fight as cruiserweight.
Yeah.
That would be fair, and that for their, when you look at them, like Jake is a big guy, but it's possible, because if he could fight Logan Paul, Logan even has the tendency to be bigger than Jake if he wants to.
He is for sure.
He's taller. So Jake is a little bit more bulkier now, like when you look at the two of them. So, but if Logan puts on more muscle mass and all that, he'll be bigger than Jake. So if he can fight Logan, then why can't you fight Jake?
Right. The match is getting closer. The fight's about to start. Trending, number 1, Mike Tyson. Number 2, Jake Paul. Look at UFC. Look at
Jones.
John Jones. Nobody cares about John Jones. Let's see the rest of this Jake Paul quote.
I do care about John Jones. I take that. Like, you can't say that Jones is one of the greatest guys that have ever stepped on.
He's a drug cheat. If you take drugs, we cannot rate you.
None of these athletes, right? I even believe that. I don't want to say much, but most of these guys are on steroids. Let's just be honest.
Well,
you understand?
He got popped, so that's the end.
They find a way to get it out of their system before the fight and all that.
Sure.
So
why not?
You can't say hi about Canelo. What are you going to say about Canelo?
Yes.
Why are you going to
say he's a drug cheat? If you're a drug cheat, I cannot call you the best. I call Mayweather the best because he never cheated with drugs.
Does it take anything away from Canelo? Like, he's one of the best.
I think it does. I think it does.
Nah, not really. Drugs, I admit, like, drugs is bad for boxing. You understand? It shouldn't. It's bad for combat sports. It shouldn't be entertained. But that doesn't take anything away from John Jones. He's one of the greatest fighters of this era. Like boxing, MMA,
we can break down the fights more, but for now we know he's running away from Tom. But let's see the rest of this J Cole. I think we're almost out of time.
Extensive
film
study.
What I was going to ask, right?
Yeah.
Now let me ask you as well. You know, so what do you think? Like, what do you think will happen in the fight? Who do you think is going to win?
Yes.
Like, what's your prediction for the fight?
Okay, so it's 14 ounce. Jake, I think Jake is going to try to box on the outside. And he's going to be ready for Mike to charge in. So he's going to definitely improve his jab, because his jab is really what got him. Meaning that they would have worked on his movement. They would have worked on his movement, because you need movement for people like Mike. It doesn't matter how powerful you are. If your movement is bad, you will get cornered and you get fucked. Right? So they would have taken into consideration ring size. They would take into consideration some footwork, work on the jab, and then know what to do when it comes inside. So if they've done these things, I think Jake has the win very easily, maybe in the fourth or fifth round. This match is not going all the way. I will be surprised and maybe a little bit disappointed if Jake cannot put this man out. But I will also be impressed if Jake has like a dominant performance. Obviously, I'm going for Jake in this fight, but I'm looking at a 4th round knockout. Maybe Mike Tyson can't get up. Not like a clean knockout, but Mike struggles to get up and both calls it.
That was another option. I see a scene. I feel if the fight is not going in Mike's favor, Mike has that tendency to just quit. He can decide to
Yeah, he
say,
quit the
fuck it,
last
I'm not
time.
fighting.
So
You understand? Like,
yeah,
so it's very possible, like, we can see something like that as well.
yeah,
So if with Mike, right, with Mike, you just have to fight back. You have to fight back, whether it's infighting, you're fighting from the outside.
yeah,
You don't let Mike dominate you. Because if he dominates you, if he comes at you with his peekaboo style, bobbing and weaving, you are
yeah,
going to have a hard time. You are
yeah,
going to have a hard time. I don't see, because I've not, the thing is, like, I saw him against Roy Jones. That
yeah,
was 4 years ago, right?
yeah,
So Roy Jones is a legitimate fighter. He's one of the greatest boxers that have ever lived. You know, when he was in his prime, you
yeah,
understand? He was, he beats guys like James Stoney, who were at their prime. These are guys that James Stoney was, like, at that point, was nearly invisible.
right.
But he lost to Roy Jones. So now when I looked at that fight, how easy Mike Tyson could walk on Roy Jones' body, like with the body shots.
Yeah,
If Jake allows that, man,
no, he's
he's
going
going to
down.
have a hard time.
Yeah, yeah,
He's going to have a hard time. So I don't know, like, I don't know the plan he's going to come up with. I think Jake needs to utilize the jab.
yeah,
Even with
big
the
time.
jab, he needs to move back. He
True,
needs to move
true.
back and keep moving back.
That's what I was talking about. His
Fight,
movement, footwork. Yeah,
yeah, fight from the distance. But you see, like, how Tyson is training, like, he's doing the whole bobbing and weaving, coming in so fast. You get, like, and I learned that he's been practicing counter punch as well, like how to basically hit. Because when you look at Jake, right,
yeah,
this is the thing. Like, when it comes to boxing, when the legitimate guys are out there,
yeah,
like the world level guys like Canelo, guys like Floyd Mayweather, guys like Usyk, and this other guy, the Baba Yaga guy, that's the Bebechev, and all these other good
yeah.
guys. They will capitalize on your mistakes.
Right.
So when you go back and watch some of Jake's fights, he drops his hand. He drops his hand
A
a
lot. Yeah.
lot.
True.
When he throws one of those his haymaker, his left exposed. So that's one thing you need to watch out for.
Yeah.
I think if Tyson is going to knock Jake out, that could possibly be a scenario. Jake could throw one of those his haymakers, and he's going to leave his chin up in the air, and Tyson would knock him out. I'm sure whoever Tyson has been training with, they must have looked at these videos. There are so many.
They'll look for that opening for sure.
Yeah, they will look for that opening. There are so many errors and so many lapses in Jake's type of fighting, his fighting style, that Tyson can literally utilize. But now the problem is his age. You might have this idea, you might have all the resources, you might basically have the know-how, like, I'm going to do this, but would you be able to do it? Like, will your body let you do it? Are you going to be fast enough? Are you going to be quick enough, you understand, to capitalize on those mistakes? So that's what I'm going, people like us, the fans and the viewers, I'm sure everyone will be looking out for that. So we'll see how well Tyson can capitalize on Jake's mistakes. And
Yeah, as a greenhorn for sure.
Yes.
So let's just wrap up by hearing the rest of this monstrosity from Jake. I love it.
Okay.
Mike,
Before we round
and
up, right, I was going to ask another question. I was going to ask just two more questions. Now,
Sure.
who do you think have more to lose?
I think Jake has more to lose for sure. For sure, Jake has more to lose. If you lose to an old man, a man who is on his way out, basically, not just as a boxer but in life, you lose to him, your dreams of becoming a world champion done. Nobody's going to care about you anymore. He barely scraped his relevance back from the Tommy Fury loss, quite honestly.
Jake does not have any plans of becoming world champion.
He does. Big time.
He knows.
Time.
He knows he can. Other world weight class, like
cruiserweight. He can fight Paul Bamba. If Paul Bamba wins in this WBC and WBA, I think are already talking about giving him a title shot. What are you saying?
who is the king of cruiserweight now? Jay Opotaya, I believe so. You understand? Jay Opotaya should be like the king of cruiserweight at the moment.
Where's Paul
Do you
Bamba?
see
Yeah.
Pombaba? Pombaba, does he have a bet in
No, he's
cruiserweight?
fighting for a belt.
He doesn't have a belt. Like cruiserweight, they have some really good guys there now. I think this guy is Lawrence Okole is also there as well. And if he comes up against one of all these formidable guys, like in cruiserweight, you can't just be world champion. In order to be a world champion, you have to fight and a legit guy. You have to fight someone who knows what he's doing.
Who was
If he
it
steps
that
in
was-
there, if he steps in there in cruiserweight division,
Yeah.
you know, against killers like Jay Opotara, and they will destroy him. Like he would absolutely be destroyed. That's just the truth. He fights
No,
a
but-
young guy.
Yeah.
He probably, if he moves down to the middleweight and fight people like Canelo, Chalo, and all those other guys,
Yeah.
he doesn't stand a chance. He doesn't stand a chance anywhere. I don't see Jake like winning he can't. Like he's just deluded. Let me put it that way. Like nobody will take that seriously. So him losing against Tyson, I agree as well with you. I think he has more to lose because people can make excuses for Tyson. He's old. He's 58. In fact, they will come up with pictures of when he was on wheelchair.
Yeah.
He just basically they were going to fight in May. He pulled out due to medical emergency.
Yeah.
So there are many excuses for Mike Tyson.
Look, what
but
title? What title next year? He can do it. And the boy he's going to fight is an easy fight for Jake. Easy.
No, who is he? You said his name is Bam Bam. I don't even know that guy. Like, what belt is he holding
Let me
in cruiserweight?
see. Let me see the person. Title challenge. Let's see. Who is this? See, here we go. WC Cruiserweight champion Nikola Mikhailian is open to fighting Jake Paul. There he is.
Jake could not fight him. That's just the truth.
They can sanction it, bro. If he beats Mike Tyson, one, he's getting a ranking for sure. And then if he gets angry and beats this guy, that's the end now. He's the world champion. He's done. See, the WC president Suleiman says Paul must first beat a ranked contender to earn a top 15, which paves the way for a world title shot. So even if it's not next year, Jake can easily do these two things.
See, what I'm saying, right? I'm not saying he can try, but he's going to get destroyed. If he fights at that level, Tommy Fury clearly showed the gap, the contrast, like in quality, like when the skills, like when it comes to boxing. If Jake is out there with these guys, like these real legitimate killers, like I feel bad for him.
I don't really know who this guy is, Noah Mikhailian, but
whoever is WBC is a serious, is a legitimate belt.
Yeah.
So whoever is holding it must have some skills. It's not going to be easy for Jake. Trust me, it's not going to be easy. But at the same time, he called out Canelo. Isn't that the fight that he said he was going after? If he beats Mike Tyson, he will go after Canelo.
Canelo, he said he will call out Canelo for sure. But this is what Noel Mikhailian says. If he beats Mike, so we're talking about what's at stake, right? What he stands to lose. If he beats Mike, that's Jake Paul. Let's go. Let's run it down. Let's fight. If it's for entertainment purposes, if he goes light on Mike, I'll go light on him. We can do it in the States with a broadcaster, world title on the line. He has to be ranked, of course. If Maurizio ranks him, I'll do a voluntary defense against him. It will be great. It will be lucrative for me. He has something to win. I have something to win.
Okay, yeah. The last sentence says everything. It's about the money you get. Jake has he has the platform. This guy just wants to make easy money.
He's hungry. He has to feed his children.
He's hungry. He's not Canelo. Like he needs people like Jake. You understand?
Yeah.
Canelo doesn't need Jake.
Yeah,
you understand?
We didn't know who he was until just now. So.
Yeah, honestly, like I look at Jake, right? I look at Jake like heavyweight. He stands no chance. Let's be honest.
He stands no chance. He can't. He will die.
Let me give you a valid reason why Jake cannot be world champion. Now look at the current heavyweight, because his walk around weight is over 200 pounds. So that means he can fight in the heavyweight division if he wants to fight there, because that's 200 pounds, like 90 kg, that's heavyweight. So now, I don't see Jake beating any guy in top 20 heavyweight division. It's not
No,
possible.
he
He
can't.
can't even
He
fight.
can't. He can't.
Who is he going to beat? Is he going to Derek Chisora? Does he stand a chance again? Even guys like Talos Takam,
Yeah.
Povetkin, like these guys like
They're all
Michael
killers.
Hunter, like
Heavyweight is too terrible now. We're talking about
they will,
cruiserweight. He should be fighting people like
they
Vidal
will,
O'Reilly
they
and all
will,
stuff
they
like
will,
this.
he stands no chance in heavyweight. Then you go down to cruiserweight. Cruiserweight, though they don't have these heavy hitters and all that, but they have very skillful guys.
Yeah.
You know, like right now, nobody knew who Usyk was until he left the cruiserweight and came to heavyweight and dominated the division. The cruiserweight is actually a very dangerous division. Like, they've had guys move from that division, come to heavyweight and dominate it. People like Ivada Holyfield, people like Alexander Usyk, you understand, and the British guy, that's Davy Hay. You understand, Davy Hay, like he's a legitimate guys, like they are big guys, like people like Tony Bellew, who could move on to heavyweight and fight in that division. They have the power, they are faster, they have the skills. So I don't know who this guy is that is holding WC bets right now, but I know Jay Opataya. I know a few guys like Lorenzo Kuni, like in the cruiserweight division. These guys are legitimate killers. I don't think Jake stand a chance. It's not like I don't think, I know for certain that Jake does not stand a chance against any of these guys.
What do you think of Badu Jack? What do you think of Jake versus Badu Jack?
Badu Jack, like, he's old. Like, Badu Jack should be in his 40s now, or late 30s, I believe.
Jake can just run up, jack him for his belt, and he has won.
Jake stands no chance against Badu Jack. Like, Badu Jack is a legitimate killer, man. Like, he's gonna destroy Jake. It's not possible. Like, if he dodges Rahman, like he refuses to fight Rahman, like Rahman Jr. I say Rahman Jr. Like, is he going to stand a chance against someone like Badu Jack? I know Badu Jack, you know, like, he's a good guy, he's a legitimate fighter, you know. I don't see how he's going to lose.
Let me ask you a question.
Jake.
Let's look at this. This is WC ranking right here, right? And I just want us to close on this because my battery is almost dead and my laptop is not charging. Right? This WBC, this is the champion is offering a voluntary defense against Jake Paul. Let's look at the top 15. Do you think that Jake can beat at least one of these people?